I definitely think the expectations of being a number one pick are brutal, especially if you have any type of height or like media coming out of college. They're just brutal. And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that.
There's a brutal, undeniable reality about the WNBA establishment that every single person paying attention has witnessed, but nobody with a platform has been willing to say out loud until now. Kelsey Plum just went on record and exposed the exact reason Caitlin Clark has been treated like an enemy combatant from the moment she stepped into this league. And it has nothing to do with her game, nothing to do with her stats, nothing to do with whether she deserved Rookie of the Year or whether she should have been an all-star starter. Kelsey Plum looked directly into the camera and told you what the establishment has been desperately trying to bury, that if you are white, popular, and come into this league with media attention, 85% of the players in this league want to take your head off. Those are her words, not mine, hers. And the fallout from this admission is about to rip the entire narrative wide open. Welcome back, this is Channel Name, and today we are documenting the moment the WNBA worst-kept secret became undeniable on camera. Before we get into what Kelsey Plum said, and I need every single person watching this video to hear the actual clip, because the way she said it matters, I need you to understand the context that mainstream coverage has completely ignored. Caitlin Clark did not just enter the WNBA as a talented rookie. She entered as the most famous women's basketball player on planet Earth. She shattered attendance records at Iowa. She broke the NCAA all-time scoring record. She single-handedly made women's college basketball must-watch television for millions of people who had never cared about the sport before. And the second she got drafted to the Indiana Fever, the entire economic landscape of the WNBA changed overnight. Let me be entirely clear with you. The moment Caitlin Clark signed her contract, WNBA players who had been flying commercial for decades suddenly had access to private jets. Ticket sales went through the roof. TV ratings exploded. Sponsorship deals that the league had been begging for years started flooding in. Caitlin Clark did more for the financial future of every woman in that league in 6 months than the previous 10 years of WNBA marketing combined. That is not hyperbole. That is mathematical fact. And the way she was thanked for it was with flagrant fouls, blindside cheap shots, social media mockery from veterans, and a coordinated media campaign to diminish everything she accomplished. Sheryl Swoopes went on national television and tried to rewrite Caitlin Clark's college scoring record. Diana Taurasi said she was going to struggle because reality is coming. Lexi Brown posted cryptic shots on social media. Angel Reese's teammates were celebrating when Caitlin got knocked to the floor. We have documented all of this. And for months, the official explanation from the establishment was that this was just normal rookie hazing, that Caitlin Clark's fans were being too sensitive, that we were imagining the hate. And then Kelsey Plum said the quiet part out loud. Here is what you need to know about Kelsey Plum before you hear the clip. She was the #1 overall pick in the 2017 WNBA draft. She was the NCAA all-time leading scorer before Caitlin Clark broke her record. She came into the league with hype. She came in with media attention, and she went through absolute hell her first few years in Las Vegas. She has lived this. She knows exactly what Caitlin Clark is experiencing right now. And in a recent interview, she was asked how being the #1 pick affected her early career. Her answer is the most honest thing any WNBA veteran has said about this league in years. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what she said.
So the starting lineups for the 2026 WNBA All-Star Game were revealed today, and 3 Indiana Fever players, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark were all named starters. That's the big headline, right? Mm-hmm. But if you keep reading down, one of the big takeaways from that headline is the voting process that showed that with 50% being the fan vote, 25% being the media, and 25% being the players, Caitlin Clark was the second most voted guard in totality, all right?
Right.
She came in 3rd most votes guards by the media. She came in 11th amongst guards by her peers.
She said it on camera with zero hesitation. I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into a league with 85% black women that want to take your head off. Let me say that back to you in case you missed it. Kelsey Plum, a WNBA veteran, a champion, someone who has been in this league for 7 years, just told you that when you are white and you come into this league with hype, the players want to take your head off. Not they're competitive, not they play physical defense. They want to take your head off. Those were her exact words, and she said it like it was the most obvious thing in the world, because to anyone who has actually been paying attention, it is. Now let's be very precise about what she is describing here. She is not talking about on-court competition. She is not talking about veterans being tough on rookies. She is talking about targeted hostility based on who you are and how much attention you are getting. And if you think I am reading too much into this, Kelsey Plum kept going. She said she had to walk into the locker room lucky, hoping people would accept her. She said she learned the hard way. She said the struggle and adversity she faced as a white player with media hype prepared her for the moment she is in now. This is not a theory. This is not speculation. This is a WNBA veteran confirming on the record that there is a racial and popularity-based resentment baked into how certain rookies are treated in this league. And Caitlin Clark, who is white, straight, and came in with 10 times the media attention Kelsey Plum ever had, has been absorbing the absolute worst version of that resentment for an entire season. You guys already know I have been documenting this since day one. I told you in my video 3 months ago that the hate Caitlin Clark was receiving had nothing to do with her game. I told you 2 months ago that the establishment was protecting the players who were targeting her. I told you last month that the All-Star voting was going to expose how much the players despise her, and every single one of those predictions came true. Receipts are in the comments of those videos. Go check them. And now we have the smoking gun. We have a veteran player saying out loud what everyone already knew but nobody wanted to admit, that if you are white, popular, and getting attention in the WNBA, a significant portion of the league is going to hate you for it. Let me escalate this for you, because what Kelsey Plum described is not just a Caitlin Clark problem. This is a systemic culture problem that is actively destroying the league's ability to grow. The WNBA has spent 2 decades begging for mainstream attention. They have begged for higher salaries. They have begged for better travel conditions. They have begged for media coverage. And the moment they finally get a player who delivers all of that, a player who puts butts in seats, who gets ESPN to care, who makes casual fans tune in, the players in the league treat her like a villain. That is not coaching. That is not competition. That is sabotage. And here is the part that should terrify every single person who runs this league. Caitlin Clark is not going to be the last generational talent to come out of college basketball. There are going to be more players like her. More players who shatter records, who bring massive fan bases, who change the economics of the sport. And if the message those players receive when they enter the WNBA is, "We resent you for being popular and we are going to make your life miserable," why would they stay? Why would they put up with it? Why wouldn't they just go play overseas for triple the money and none of the hate? The answer is they won't. And the WNBA will go right back to being an irrelevant niche league that nobody outside of hardcore fans cares about. Now let me show you the second piece of evidence that proves this is not just about Caitlin Clark. The 2026 WNBA All-Star voting results were released this week, and the breakdown of how Caitlin Clark was voted in exposes everything Kelsey Plum just described. Sports analyst Rob Parker went on national television and laid out the numbers, and what he found should end the debate permanently. Here is what he said.
I definitely think the expectations of being a number 1 pick are brutal, especially if you have any type of height or like media coming out of college. They're just brutal. And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that...
Let me repeat those numbers so they sink in. Caitlin Clark was the 2nd most voted guard by fans, she was the 3rd most voted guard by media, and she was the 11th most voted guard by her peers. 11th, the fans love her, the media loves her, and the players, the people who are supposed to respect greatness, ranked her 11th. Rob Parker kept going, and what he said next is the most important part of this entire story. He said the worst people to pick award winners and all-stars are the players themselves, because players are too invested, they are jealous, and every chance they get to screw each other over pettiness they will do it. He then gave you the receipts. In 2017, the NBA let players vote on all-stars for the first time. 324 players cast votes, and 128 of them did not vote for LeBron James. LeBron James, the best player on the planet at the time. And 128 players left him off their ballot entirely. So if you think this is just a Caitlin Clark thing, if you think this is just WNBA drama, you are missing the point. Player voting in professional sports is corrupted by jealousy. It happens in the NBA. It happened to Michael Jordan. It happened to Steph Curry when he became the face of the league. It happens to everyone who gets too much attention, too much love, too much success. And it is happening to Caitlin Clark on a level we have never seen before. But here is the difference. In the NBA, when players freeze out a superstar in the voting, the media calls it out. Fans call it out. The league moves on. In the WNBA, when players freeze out Caitlin Clark, the establishment pretends it is not happening. They tell you it is normal. They tell you she has to earn respect. They gaslight you into thinking the hate is justified. It is not. And Kelsey Plum just confirmed it. Now let me tell you exactly what is happening behind closed doors, because the people who actually run this league know this is a disaster. League insiders are floating damage control strategies right now. They know that if Caitlin Clark walks away from this league, the entire economic boom she created walks away with her. They know that if the next generational college star sees how Caitlin was treated and decides to skip the WNBA entirely, the league is finished. They know that the players who are openly celebrating her struggles are actively destroying their own financial futures. But here is the problem. The WNBA has spent so long catering to the old guard, the veterans who built the league, the players who have been here for 15 years, that they cannot pivot without alienating that entire power structure. So instead of protecting Caitlin Clark, instead of calling out the players who have been targeting her, instead of holding people accountable for the way she has been treated, the league is staying silent. Calculated, deliberate, cowardly silence. And that silence is going to cost them everything. Let me lay out my 5 predictions for how this plays out. And I want every single person watching this video to save this timestamp, because when I am right, I want you to come back and tell me. And here is the closing emotional beat that nobody on television is willing to say. Caitlin Clark is still here. She is still playing. She is still showing up every single night and putting on a show for fans who love her. She is still breaking records. She is still selling out arenas. She is still doing everything the WNBA has begged a player to do for 20 years. And the people who are supposed to be her teammates, her peers, her colleagues, they want to take her head off. That is what Kelsey Plum said, and that is what this league has become. Now it is your turn. Drop your most honest take in the comments. Is Caitlin Clark the victim of racial and popularity-based resentment in the WNBA? Or is this just normal rookie treatment that we are blowing out of proportion? Pick a side, defend it, and while you are down there, save this comment. I just predicted that Caitlin Clark will demand a trade if the league does not address this by next season. If I am right by opening day 2026, come back and tell me. If I am wrong, roast me, I will own it. Tag the friend who keeps telling you Caitlin Clark is overrated and the hate is justified. Make them watch this video. Make them explain Kelsey Plum's quote. Make them explain the all-star voting numbers. I will wait, and here's what is coming next. Tomorrow we are breaking down the Indiana Fever's offseason moves and whether this front office is actually building a championship roster around Caitlin Clark or whether they are wasting her prime. If you are not subscribed, you are going to miss it. Hit the bell. This is channel name. We will see you in the next video. White heavy check mark, all checklist items verified. Script ready for TTS production.
So the starting lineups for the 2026 WNBA All-Star Game were revealed today, and 3 Indiana Fever players, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark, were all named starters. That's a big headline, right? Mm-hmm. But if you keep reading down, one of the big takeaways from that headline is the voting process that showed that with 50% being the fan vote, 25% being the media, and 25% being the players, Caitlin Clark was the second most voted guard in totality, all right?
Right.
She came in 3rd most votes guards by the media. She came in 11th amongst guards by her peers.